Hi guys, my name is Liz and I want to chime in and do my part for the TPE3, Understanding and Organizing Subject Matter for Student Learning. I have a lot to say about this, so bear with me. I didn't realize we could do videos, but I feel like it's such a good way to be communicating with one another. Let me begin by addressing how I use my standards and curriculum in Common Core. The standards are a very important part of almost every single day, if not all, and every lesson. Especially, I work at a campus where I am in a special academic instruction course where I am dealing with sixth, seventh, and eighth graders all in one grade. And not only is it a 3 grade class, but also my students are at different levels and some of their goals are also at various standards. So I continuously put lessons into my day-to-day activities that are going to integrate every level of standards, whatever it may be, in language arts and in reading. Right now we're doing a story that is a 7th grade reading text, and it seems it's kind of hard for my 6th graders who are obviously younger and then still have a specific learning disability or other health impairment, and so those kind of things are hard, but I have to integrate the 7th grade standard for those that are 7th graders. Some of my 8th graders have already had this specific story. And as I'm going through the standards, I'm trying to adapt every single one to be able to access every student's understanding. And we know that there's many objectives to every lesson, and it's very important to be able to address those standards and get through to all our students no matter what abilities they have. And I also know that it's essential to have standards for our goals and our IEPs. When I'm creating my IEPs, especially for my co-taught at my second campus, where all students are getting grade level content, I have to adapt all goals to grade level as opposed to my SAI, where their goals are from various. I have some students that are 6th graders with 3rd grade level standards and goals in their IEPs. So I think that we have to adapt to every single one of our students' needs, which we as educators know that that's just part of our job. And the standards are what drives every lesson, every plan, every strategy, every accommodation, because we want to get them to a certain point, and we need to be able to do that no matter what their needs are, as long as we're adapting lessons and objectives and everything and implementing all the accommodations that we know our students need specifically. In developing and planning instruction for standards and IEPs, I make it a priority to consistently be looking up Common Core standards that I feel that can adapt to a lot of my students. Say in my co-taught, a lot of my students have similar goals because, like I said, they're grade level, and so they're getting grade level content. And in my co-taught with my co-teacher, we implement those standards in day-to-day lessons. So we have packets that are for some of our students who are reading, for example, Fahrenheit 451. That's our text right now. And we're doing a unit. And every so often, I incorporate lessons that are addressing standards that are on students' IEPs. They're not part of the curriculum per se, or I just integrate it so I don't have to say, hey guys, today we're going to take a break from the text and we're going to implement this random main idea curriculum lesson. No, I try to integrate that into every day, and that takes a lot of work with my co-teacher, who is awesome and accommodating, and we make it work, and the kids are very receptive to it because we implement it in such a natural way. And that's just something that's become kind of our team effort, and I think it's been very, very effective. Additionally, it's a good way to engage students, to have visuals for them, especially for my kids that the standards read that they can identify a main idea or theme, and then their accommodation is with a list of themes or main ideas, and I can provide a visual for them. So that's been something that's very specific to my students, but we're addressing it in a gen ed class with standards, with goals in place, and it's just worked out very nicely. In my SAI, of course, there's standards that are consistently in place, and I have to mention that at my first campus, something that I think is very amazing, and I will share just a tidbit because I can't share the whole document. We've created a goal bank And in that goal bank, we have broken it apart for STC 6th grade. It's this goal, it's this standard that's adaptable and effective for that specific class. I use this so much in my IEPs. I use it so much to address my students' needs and co-teach 7th grade this standard, and then even gives me the information, every single tidbit of that Common Core standard. And then I can apply that in my IEPs, which is a God save. It has helped me so much, not only learn the standards, not only be able to access them, but just that continuous practice. And then that also creates this huge collaboration amongst me and the other specialists on campuses, because we're all using the same material to try to get our students exactly where they need to be. And it's been so productive. I've never seen another campus use this. And we call it just the McAuliffe Bank. And like I said, I'll share a tidbit of it, but it's been so effective on our campus, and it's only on one of my campuses, and I see how different it is and how effective it is in us being able to collaborate as a team and be able to get those goals and the standards in place for our students. It's been a savior in demonstrating the ability to teach the standards and IEP requirements and to diverse needs of students. This is my bread and butter, because like I said, my kids are so diverse. Not only do I have EL students, I have students that with non-diagnosed schizophrenia. I have kids that with emotional disturbance. I have kids with specific learning disabilities, ASD, and there's so many different abilities and diversity within one class. And while say my special academic instruction class for math is that level, it's not STC, it's not COTA, it's not JET, it's right in the middle. There is so much variety of ability in that one class. And there's so many things that I have to focus on: subject matter, using resources, and just focusing on the pedagogy, but with so many needs. And it's just amazing how I'm able to create this environment where I'm addressing every single person's standards, every single person's goals, and it's getting done. And at first it was very, very challenging, but now I think as things progress and you get in the flow of things and you get a better understanding of every single student's needs, especially when you do an IEP and their new goals come up and you created those goals, so you are 100% aware, you are very familiar, and now you know what you have to do to get your student there. That is very beneficial, and I think that it's helped me a lot in my process as well. And monitoring student learning and adjusting to the comprehensive instruction while teaching to address student digital engagement. I am not big on digital anything, I'm going to be honest, but I am able to monitor them obviously through benchmarks, through assessments. We do Lexiles, we do a lot of for math, I use a lot of digital formats for assessment. And um, while I think it's a very, very, and it's obviously the new way that things are going towards, it's how we're going to assess, how we're going to live. I like it because it gives you a good indication of students' ability, students' understanding of, are they meeting the standards? Are they below grade level? Are they, is the standard met? Is it almost met? But I think that we also have to adapt these assessments beyond that, because I have a lot of students who do not respond well to any of these kinds of assessments or in any kind of form lessons that have to do with monitoring this way. So I think that we also have to be able to monitor students differently. And in my class, I do obviously, I do a lot of the digital assessments to monitor growth and comprehension, but I also address it by exit tickets and formal assessments and group work and observation and a lot of different strategies, obviously different modalities to help them be engaged. If they're my visual learners, if they're my auditory learners, I try to integrate everything, especially because the standards are, there's so many standards that we need to address, and some are so specific to digital information, but there's an array of things that we can use to monitor and address this. Additionally, possible evidence. Okay, so I'm going to attach part of my bank that we use at my school because I think that it's a great reference, and I think I'm honestly very proud of what we created. And I'm also going to provide a it's not a lesson plan. While we have so many of those, I wanted to give kind of at my district our observations, what is in what it entails in it, and it's the standard, the objective, which the objective is every day in my class. Today, our objective, I can subtract a linear equation. Today, my objective, I can compare and contrast the protagonist and the antagonist. And those things are so important to have. And those are also addressed in these lessons. And they're just tidbits of lessons that I feel to give a whole understanding of I'm going to get my student from here to here. How am I going to do it? I'm going to do it this way. Why am I doing it this way? For this reason. And it's just that document that provides that little tidbit, but it gives so much information. And of course, we are addressing standards in every lesson, especially my principal wants to see the standard. What standard am I? Oh, you're doing a Venn diagram today? That was my last observation. Okay, so then what are you doing next? What are you going why are you doing this? What standard is it addressing? And every lesson that we provide to our students has to have a goal, and I think that these little lessons provide that. And I think that everything has to be standard, not led, but we consistently have to be addressing standards. And when you are in a class like mine, where there's so many different abilities, so many levels, and today I had to do reading on at a third grade level with sixth, seventh, and eighth graders because some of my students are at a third grade level, and that's okay. So I'm addressing a third grade standard, which some kids think, oh wow, this is very easy. For others, it's not. So I pair them with peers that are going to be good for them to help them access the curriculum, and it works out. So that's my part. I will attach everything that I mentioned. Thank you for listening, and thanks for everybody else's input. Oh, one more thing that I wanted to add. Recently had a PLC with one of my campuses. It was just actually a meeting, and they were talking about how important it is to align curriculum with Common Core standards. With in a variety of ways, and we talked about collaborating with several teachers, which I really do. I co-teach with one teacher in core, and then I go collaborate with math teachers for my other campus that I have math in, and it's become such an essential tool for me. Utilizing online resources, using creativity, and focusing on foundational skills, and then a lot of like reading current information that we think is to keep us up to date. I just wanted to include that because I thought that was really cool, and it had to do with the Common Core standards. And also, we had a discussion on um, integrating subjects into different aligning with different subjects. So now what we've started to do in my co-taught, we are bringing in TED Talks or short stories that are on science or that are on art. And we're kind of just integrating different subject matter into our class, but with still the Common Core standards being addressed. We read an article on the girl that discovered dinosaurs. Okay, we're in core, so now we're learning about paleontology, we're learning about history. And now tell me the main idea. And that's where I address my students' goals who are seventh grade standards. So it's just something that I wanted to talk about and something that I thought was very cool. Thanks for listening, and I hope to hear from everybody.